You're going to be very surprised. You know, they're talking about this blue wave. I don't think so. If the Democrats get in, they're going to raise your taxes. You're going to have crime all over the place. You're going to have people pouring across the border. So why would that be a blue wave? I think it could be a red wave.
Well, that's according to the president in Ohio this weekend. The president predicting a red wave of Republicans winning in this year's midterm elections. The president firing up the crowd on behalf of GOP candidate Ohio State Senator Troy Balderson. He's running against Democratic underdog Danny O'Connor in tomorrow's closely watched Ohio House special election. Let's bring in Karl Rove, former chief of staff to President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor. Karl, good Monday morning to you. All right,
morning.
So how about that red wave? Do you see one coming?
I think the president would be well advised to lower expectations rather than raise them. Think about this. Republicans gained seats in the House and Senate in 2002. Democrats gained seats in the House in 1998 in a midterm when they held the White House. And the last time it happened before that was 1934. Rarely in a midterm election does the party in power, the party that holds the White House, gain seats. Now, the Republicans might have a chance of gaining seats in the Senate because the way that we elect senators, there's never been, since we began electing senators in 1914, has there been a landscape as favorable to the party in power as the one that we face this year. 10 of the 26 Democrats who are up are in states that were won by Donald Trump. Only one of the non-Republicans who are up is in a state that Hillary Clinton won. But in all likelihood, the Republicans are going to lose seats in the House. They're going to lose governorships. They're going to lose state legislative seats. I think the president would be well advised to say we face an uphill fight, but he feels good about it, rather than set the expectation that somehow or another the Republicans are going to gain across the board with a red wave.
Barack Obama lost 63 seats 2010, his first midterm.
Right.
Is that a barometer, or is that?
Well, I think the average is somewhere
outlier?
close. Well, that's an outlier, but because of the size of the number of seats. But typically, I think the party in power loses, depending on how you look at it, 20 some odd to 30 some odd seats, depending on what time frame you're looking at in the recent past.
Okay.
But the Republicans need to hold on to 20. If they lose more than 20, if they lose 23 seats, they lose control of the House of Representatives, which is why tomorrow's race in Ohio is so important. It's a Republican-held seat. It's a +7 Republican seat. The Democrats are pushing a big run on it. If they'll get a big psychological boost if they win it.
Well, here is Senator Joe Lieberman with his prediction, Karl.
I will say that my prediction today is that it's going to be a blue wave, a Democratic wave, not a big wave in the House. Democrats retake the House if the elections are today. My guess is that the Republicans hold the Senate, but it's going to be close.
But it's going to be close, he says.
I think that's right, simply because, look, first of all, we're talking about states like North Dakota and Montana and West Virginia, Indiana, Missouri, Nevada, Arizona, Tennessee. I think Tennessee and Indiana are the two biggest states in which their Senate race, Florida as well. Outside of Florida, the two biggest states in which we're having serious contests are likely to be Indiana and Tennessee. So the election results there could be very narrow, could control the Senate, could be determined nationwide by literally several tens of thousands.
Okay, you've been studying Congressional District 12 in Ohio, right? I know you have. We're going to take you over to the board here and see what we've got. All right, I think it's very interesting, Karl. I mean, you've had a Republican in this district for the last 35 years. I mean, the numbers really favor Republicans. I'll just show you on the board what we've drilling down here from 2016. The president won the state by 8 points. That's a landslide in Ohio politics these days. You know, I mean, you probably agree with that. But on this district itself, if you go into Congressional District 12, he won the district by 11 points. And still some of these polls are suggesting it's too close to call. And let's figure out in a moment here why we think that is the case. But here is the race tomorrow. O'Connor's the Democrat. Balderson's the Republican. This stretches northern part of Columbus, Ohio, the suburbs into Delaware County, a quickly moving area as well. You got some rural areas up in Morrow and Richland down in Muskegon counties, a lot of farmland, a lot of rural areas. But you look at the demographics here, okay? You just, for this district here on the screen, you look, I mean, it's predominantly white, right? It's 85%. Clear that off. You look at education, bachelor degree, 41%. Sorry, let me click that on here one time. 41%. Some college better than 26%. It's a very educated area here. And then you go to income, and you're well above, the median income for the country is at 57%. And this is a district that's $10,000 higher. You would think in a regular election that we would not even be talking about a special election in Ohio in this district. How do you see it there?
Well, look, special elections are really special because you don't have an incumbent. And you've put your finger on the three things that matter in this district, and they all are centered in Delaware County. You have white, college-educated, affluent suburbanites. And those people are the people who are typically vote for Republicans in regular elections, but are a little bit upset with the president, particularly his behavior. And those are the ones that O'Connor, the Democrat, is making a bid for. He's from Franklin County, which frankly, which is Columbus itself. It doesn't have as much of the population. The center of the population is Delaware County, that big suburban county. And what he's trying to do is say, I'm a moderate Democrat. Initially, he said, I won't vote for Pelosi. He's now changed his mind. But he's making a bid for those people saying, send a message to Donald Trump that you want better. Troy Balderson, whom I met when I spoke at the Delaware County Reagan-Lincoln dinner earlier this year, very impressive guy, comes from the more rural part of the district. He's going to run strong as an acre of garlic out there. The question is going to be, does O'Connor make enough gains in Delaware County to win, or does Balderson hold him off there?
Meanwhile, Carl, you've had some strong thoughts on the direction the president has been going with the media. And the president tweeted this out yesterday. The fake news he said the fake news hates me, saying that they are the enemy of the people only because they know it is true. I am providing a great service by explaining this to the American people. They purposely cause great division and distrust. They can also cause war. They are very dangerous and sick. What are your thoughts as the president continues to take on the media?
Look, I think this is over the top. Every president has problems with the media. I was in the White House for 7 years. I didn't like the coverage that they gave George W. Bush, particularly the liberal New York Times. But I think the president is better if he makes his case on a case-by-case basis. That is to say, when they say something that is wrong, and then he makes a respectfully disagrees with them. I think calling names is not helpful to our country from any side. And calling them the enemy of the people, that just grates on me. I grew up, during the time of the Cold War, and that is a phrase that was used by Stalin against the enemies of the communist regime. I think the president would be well advised, tone down the rhetoric. When the media does something that you think misstates your views, set the record straight in an appropriate way. But your audience is not the media, and your audience is not the hardcore base that loves you. There are people that go to those rallies, and when he says the fake news and the media and they're terrible and points at them, they scream and yell. But to win the election this fall, he's got to win the people who are up for grabs in this election. 28% of the American people in the Fox July poll strongly approve of the president's performance. 41% approve altogether, somewhat and strongly, but 51% disapprove and 41% strongly disapprove. He's got to pull away some of that 10% that somewhat disapprove of his performance. And the way to do that is by reaching out to him, not by simply appealing to the hardcore base that's already in his camp.
Well stated. You've analyzed this well. Thank you, Carl. Hope you're coming back soon, okay?